Okay, so we now reach the Newcastle Knights. Last season they finished 7th with 23 points, 11 wins, 1 draw, 8 losses. The head coach is Adam O'Brien going into his second season. I think he had a pretty solid first season in charge. Pretty solid. They've got a fair few strengths, but I'm going to focus on two, and they've got a fair few weaknesses as well. I'm going to really highlight two major glaring ones. Their strengths, they have a lot of speed outside. When you've got players like Ponga, Edric Lee, Bradman Best, you're going to score tries. You're going to have some pace out wide, and they did exploit that at times. They've also got a very aggressive mobile pack with David Clemmer as the leader, the Saifitis in there. They've got some pretty aggressive forwards as well who will break tackles, get you up the field, and make tackles as well. And they're very mobile, which is a positive to have in a game that's speeding up with new rule changes. It's a faster game than what it was before. If you've got a lumbering, cumbersome, slow pack, you're going to get exposed. Their pack is more mobile and a bit smaller than some other packs, but they can keep that energy level up, and that's a really good thing. The weaknesses, especially, I've talked about squad depth in a lot of these videos going, that's a weakness, but in key areas, this is what I think did for them. Depth at hooker and depth in the halves. I mean, Mitchell Pearce doesn't have a permanent halves partner. They have tried Kalen Ponga in the halves as well. Last season didn't work. He is better at fullback or on the wing. There is no denying that. Yeah, Mitchell Pearce, there's too much pressure on Mitchell Pearce to be one of the sole major creative players in that creative 9-6-7 axis. When they lost games, it was because there was too much pressure on Mitchell Pearce to deliver the goods. And when he has an off day, the team has an off day. They need to find him a permanent partner and a bit more depth to back up Pearce and whoever his partner is long term. The hooker situation, at one point I think they were on their fourth choice hooker in the season. McCulloch got injured and then they all started falling like flies. They would play a couple of games, get hurt. So there is a problem on that creative axis in depth and quality of depth as well. The goal kicking, Kalen Ponga's goal kicking deserted him. Lino was obviously brought in. He's now left the club. And his goal kicking was of a much higher percentage. The amount of points they left on the field, hence why they got a draw in here. They could have easily won more games. They left points on the field. They left points out there because the goal kicking percentage was in the 60% range, 60 to 70%. So about a third of their kicks at goal missed. They could have scored a lot more points and therefore got more wins. So the goal kicking needs to massively improve. Whether that's on the players in Kalen Ponga, is it a technique with the player? Is it coaching, the goal kick coaching of the player? They have to look at that going forward because that is a major, major concern. There is no doubt that is a major problem. When you're losing games by 2 to 6 points, okay, it's a tight game. But if you could have scored another 10 points, for example, with kicks at goal, then that is a massive point swing in the opposition's favour. You may have outscored them in tries, but you're leaving points on the field. You may have got more penalties awarded to you, and you're missing kicks. That's points on the field. So that is a real glaring weakness, is their goal kicking. For me, a key player to watch, I've actually looked at the players that I've picked so far for key player watch. Some of them were actually NRL rookies last year. Quite a lot of them actually were in their first or second season in the NRL. Now, some of them obviously have experience, such as George Williams in Super League. Obviously, I was looking at Cameron Munster. He's obviously had experience with the Melbourne Storm for several seasons now. But for the most part, and Tom Trbojevic at Manly, but the rest are all either first or second season players. I've gone with Bradman Best with the Newcastle Knights because he had a breakout season. He's got to build on that. If he has some struggles in this second season syndrome, as I call it, then that is a concern because he is a really exciting player that can unlock that left hand side in attack, and in defence he's pretty gnarly as well. He's a pretty good up and coming centre who I think has a very long bright future ahead of him, and he has pace to burn. He's quick. He's powerful and quick. That will take some pressure off, like Kalen Ponga, for example, Edric Lee, Mitchell Pearce, when you can create something out of nothing by breaking tackles and using pace, and he's quite skillful as well. That's something else you need. You need more than just one creative player or one strike player. He adds a bit of a dimension that eases some of the pressure off the star players in this team, and he can become a star player in this team and part of the leadership core of this team going forward. My prediction is they will continue to improve. The issues that they have can be fixed. The goal kicking is one problem, But that depth at hooker in the halves is another issue. But now they've had that finals experience, they're going to have that hunger to get back there. If they do make finals, because I think obviously having a full-length season, it's going to be more of a challenge than a 20-game season, I still think they go out in the first week. I don't think they've got enough to go on a long run. I could be wrong, but I still think they make the finals this year because I think they're going to improve this year because now they've had that experience of tasting getting finals football under their belt. And a lot of these players haven't played finals before, and that's something that they want to achieve again because the lack of success for 7 or 8 years has been a problem. There's been too much of a losing culture. They've now started to win. So, and they've had a positive win record this season where they won more games than they lost. So there is starting to become some momentum. They've got to continue it next year. But then again, all these predictions could end up being wrong, and this is why I don't make them off. But I think they will make finals and will be interesting to watch. Newcastle Knights, young, exciting team. So thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts below, and I'll have some more videos for you very, very soon.